Okay, let's see. It's still thinking. Okay, we should be live. Hey, y'all. Hey.
Hello, hello, hello.
Happy Where We At Wednesday. I'm sorry, no. Wealthy and Worthy. Where We At Wednesday is a completely different thing. Okay.
It's something else. It's something else, y'all. Just don't. It's that is hilarious.
That's funny. Okay, no, today is Wealthy and Worthy Wednesday. So welcome. Type in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're so glad to have you joining us today.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Okay, it looks like it's just me and you today. I think.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it.
Thank you. Let me turn my phone off.
Hi, Tia. I see you didn't came in, girl. How you doing?
Okay, let's see. Somebody was writing. Let me see. I'm gonna try to like put you all's comments on the screen today. I'm gonna try to get better at that. I think next time I'm gonna just have my admin come and help support us. All right, y'all. So today, the topic for today, right, is the juicy one, I think, for high impact women, right? Because we're talking about discipline, right? We're talking about the fact that you don't need more discipline, okay? I know this may seem a little counterintuitive to new year, new you, but you know, Legacy League and even for Wealthy and Worthy, right? Like it is always our goal to offer new ways of thinking, being, and showing up. And so we like to offer things that may cause you to pause, right? And think. We want you to slow down and really be thinking about, right? Like, do you need discipline? Now, if you need discipline, then listen, do what you need to do to get that, right? But for the women in our ecosystem, right? High impact women, highly ambitious women, self-starters, the type A, you may have heard people, or you may even refer to yourself as type A, right?
Mm-hmm.
For you don't need more discipline. All right. I'm going to tell you that now. What you actually need are better containers. And when I say containers, I'm talking about community spaces, right? Safe spaces where you can continue to grow and flourish and do all the things that you were created to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as we jump into the discussion today, Talana, I'm very, very curious. Okay, first, because it is just the two of us, I actually would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience so that they get a refresher of who you are and your expertise that you bring.
Okay, well, my name is Talana Davis. I am a wife, a mother, and I am also owner of To the T Decor and Design and founder of Life Beyond DNA. Life Beyond DNA is a community where we assist people who have experienced a DNA surprise, meaning they found out their mother wasn't their mother or their father wasn't their father. I too am a part of that community. And so I mentor women through that process, women and men, actually, mostly women for me through that process of healing once they have come up on that discovery. But interior design is my gifted work, and Life Beyond DNA is my life's work.
I love that. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love that. All right, y'all. So listen, if you are in need of some premium design services, she is your girl, right? But if you are also looking for somebody who has real wisdom and insight when it comes to restoring relationships and primarily the core relationships, right? Your parents doesn't get any more central than that, right? So
all the way down to the molecular level. Okay.
Yeah, no, seriously. So yes, so if you have a need in that regard, make sure that you connect with Talana, right? Okay, so she's joining the conversation today for Legacy League's Wealthy and Worthy. She's usually actually in the conversation, adding kind of her really in-depth wisdom and insight to how, women can really just show up and embrace all of who
Mhm.
they are, and how they can live lives that are beautiful, but also have beautiful relationships, because that is possible. And we are all a living testament of that. All right. So today, right, we're going to be talking about the relationships that are more central to helping you recognize that you don't need more discipline. You just need safe spaces, better containers to hold all of who you are, and all of
Mhm.
your brilliance, all of your fullness, all of
Mhm.
your magnificence. All right. So, the question that we have today to start off the discussion is, where have you been trying to hold change by yourself, even though you already knew what needed to shift?
So you're asking me specifically. Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so I can go in so many different directions with this question. We can go personal in marriage, we can go in just life as a mom, we can go into business. Um, let's do the business aspect because I feel like that's what I'm still trying to work on balancing.
Okay.
Uh, so in my interior design business, you guys, because I'm such a creative, I went in wearing all the hats, right? Oh, I do the tech side. My husband is techie. Oh, I'm creative. I'll do the design side. Oh, I love to implement. I wanted to be a carpenter at one time. I can build things, you know. And then you find out it is not sustainable. You cannot build a business around yourself. Like you need other people. You need other people who have expertise in areas that you do not, right? And so it's like even though I probably could wear the hats, I will burn myself out and I have burnt myself out, right? And so it's hard when you start it that way and then you try to rewind and
Mm,
give it alignment,
yeah. Yeah.
which is what I had to do, and am still doing on the interior design side. It's easier when you start off in alignment
Mm,
and you can gain momentum quicker if you set it up that way. And so for me, I came in wearing all the hats and I learned very quickly this is not sustainable. I cannot grow and scale wearing all the hats, period.
love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And if you're watching, right, like many of our the women in our communities, some of I'll say this, most of them are entrepreneurs, even if they're not full time, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of my corporate clients are, executives, but they also have like a business on the side
Right.
or some additional income streams that are flowing into their family. So that is important context to think about the container and the support or the community that you
Mhm.
need to actually build the dream, right? Whatever that dream is. And so I think for myself, there was a time where I was trying to hold change by myself in regards to fitness, because I had like I've always, been a gym girly. But when I became a mom, I was like, the gym is not working for me. like, like, like I was, breastfeeding exclusively. So it was just really difficult to get away from my baby. And
Mhm.
honestly, I really didn't want to be away from my baby for extended periods of time. And so I was like, I know something needs to shift, but I'm not sure like what that needs to look like, and how it's going to even happen.
Mhm.
Like I'm so overwhelmed. And so with that, it's like I really was forced to figure out, okay, I have to accept that I'm in a new season, that things have changed, and I need to then assess and adjust my strategy, right? And so I ended up just hiring a trainer that actually had a community of other moms that were working on fitness. And so she was just so instrumental in helping me like feel like I can do this. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna look different, right? I'm not in the gym, slamming weights like I had once done in CrossFit and things like that. But but it was sustainable movement that helped me feeling kept me feeling strong in my body, which was really important to me. So yeah, there are going to be times, ladies, where you really have to recognize that you cannot always hold change on your own, even when you know what needs to change. Sometimes it's the how, and it's the whether it's a good time right now, right? I have a lot of clients that are, they'll come to me and they're like, I hate my job, right? But I'm not really sure if this is the time to quit, or if this is the time to launch into entrepreneurship. So it can always, or it can often be the strategy, but also the timing of whether that change can happen or should happen for you. So I think that's great. Okay, so Talana, how has the idea that you should be able, emphasis on should, okay, be able to handle something alone, how has that shown up in your life, or even in the example that you just shared about your business?
Okay, so I'm going to go a little more personal into my personal world, right? First off, where do we learn this stuff from? Where do we pick this up from as women, especially as Black women? Because we carry the society on our shoulders. Okay, so where did this idea that strong is like this positive thing always, right? I don't want to be strong all the time. I don't want to carry everything all the time. I want to sit in my full femininity. Okay. What they like to call soft life. Okay. I want
Yes,
to
yes,
down here,
yes,
right? And
yes.
so just thinking about how fast-paced society is today, women are growing businesses on a scale that is like we've never seen before,
Yeah.
right? Which is going to cause an imbalance for many, and I would say probably a majority of households, because the women are in different roles now, right? And so growing up, I remember being pushed so hard as a woman because the women in my family were like, you're not going to have to depend on a man. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. You're going to get your education. And for me, subconsciously, I feel like what that was telling me is do everything. Do everything so you can have everything and you don't have to depend on anyone. And I know they didn't mean it in that context, but subconsciously, that's what it's telling you. Make your own money, build your own businesses. You don't have to depend on a man. You don't have to depend on anyone. And then this guilt of asking for help, right?
Yeah.
It's just, to me, I had to unlearn that. I had to unlearn that, and that and I didn't realize how engulfed in it I was until I got married and had children. And then I started to become overwhelmed in the wifely duties and the motherly duties.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like I can do it better, so I should do it. So for my husband, if I say, I need you to vacuum the living room, but he's not doing it in a way that's leaving the little pretty lines.
Not the lines. Not the
I'm
lines.
just saying, for me, it was the carpet lines. For someone else, it's other things, right?
Right.
But then I would feel like I still need to do it myself because it's not done right. Because in my mind, I have an idea of what right is, right? And so
Absolutely.
I feel like we carry all these things, and what I had to do is unlearn that behavior is a good thing, because it's not a good thing if it causes imbalance.
Yeah.
Which it was in my life. And I had to learn to let go of some things. The house does not have to look perfect all the time, Talana. It just doesn't. Okay. I didn't know back then what was really stirring up in me was this gifting of interior decorating and decor and design, right? But it was still overwhelming me in my life. Hire a cleaner if things get too much. Send your laundry to a laundry service, or if you can't afford those things, start divvying up or planning certain days you're going to do certain things, or ask your husband or the people in your family that's in your household for more help, or your extended family and friends.
Mhm.
Start leaning on them for assistance. We have not because we ask not, right? And
Yeah.
so we don't know what it is we would get if we never inquire or ask for the help. And so for me, it took a long time. When I say a long time, for me to get that and really get in alignment with that.
Yeah.
And now I feel more free. I feel lighter, but it took a minute to get there. And for us as women, we just carry it and we hold it like it's something like this prize that
Mhm.
we just don't want to let go. And it's like, no, sis, it is not always a prize. Sometimes it's good to have it and it's good for you to show up in that way. But many times we are really, really doing ourselves a disservice.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Thanks for sharing that. So, if you're watching this back, right, I want you to be thinking about a couple of things, right? Like where do you learn the shoulds, right? And are they accurate?
Are they
Are
accurate?
they accurate for where you are right now, right? And then also thinking about and getting creative about how you can delegate, right? Delegating is a super skill. It is a super skill, right? Because here's the thing,
Right.
as you grow and as you gain more oversight over things, more responsibility, as you're being a highly ambitious, high impact woman, right? You're naturally going to have more things within your scope. And
Mhm.
as those responsibilities grow, you have to be very clear and very confident about being able to assign things to other people that may be better gifted at something than you are, right? I often coach my clients, right? You keep the things that only you can do, right? Only the things that you can do. So, I'll give you an example. Like in my company, for example, we have lots of staff on our team that go after work, right? They're pitching, they're, finding opportunities for our firm. And most of the time, I'm able to just kind of allow them to find what they're interested in, do kind of all the prep work. They'll usually draft the proposals and kind of get things going. But when it comes time, when it comes to game time and it's submission time or it's, doing a sales call with somebody, that is usually one of the very last things that I'm going to delegate or ask somebody else to do because
Mhm.
that is the one thing, number one, that I know I'm really good at.
Mhm.
It's also one of the things that is important for my team to see me operate in so that they can learn as I'm doing it in real time, right? So it allows me to not be bogged down by drafting proposals or finding background information for a company, right? That kills my time. And it also kills my energy because I don't care most of the time, right? Like I don't care about that.
Right.
like,
Right.
and not in a like arrogant way, but in a way of like that does not give me energy. It actually drains my energy, right? And
Mhm.
being very clear and specific about that, right? Like I have a researcher on my team. That is her jam, right? She will research a thing, right? And she will come back and tell me, Dr. Rogers, these are the high points, right? She loves it and she's very good at it, right? And so I think, as you become a leader and as you grow, it's important that you are very apt in the ability to identify the strengths of others, not only your own strengths, right? Because we can be so self-centered and think, oh my God, I'm just the best at everything, right? And even if you are, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should have that responsibility. So being able to lead, part of leadership, right, is being able to identify the strengths of those around you and being able to leverage those to move the vision forward, right?
Yes,
Whatever the goal or objective is that you're working towards. So
absolutely.
we're not coaching on leadership today, but that is a very, very important thing for my high impact women that I want you to be thinking about, being mindful about, even take inventory, right? If you're watching this back, pause and take inventory. Where are the spaces in my life where I may be overcommitting, and I can really think about what are the things that only I can do, and where are areas that I can release, right? Because again, you're going to need that capacity as you continue to grow and expand, and your leadership and oversight grows and increases. So super important. All right. So we're going to shift a little bit and talk about what happens when you struggle to hold those boundaries, or the strategy that you say you want to try, or the new thing that you want to go after, right? What happens when the boundary doesn't hold and you can't quite identify what was missing, right? So, Talana, do you have a time where you weren't able to hold a boundary on something, and you were like, in hindsight, you're like, oh man, I was missing structure. I was missing accountability. Maybe I was just missing a reminder of what I said I wanted to do and accomplish. Do you have an example of that?
Yes.
You're laughing, so now I'm nervous.
Yeah. When I found out my DNA surprise, right? It shattered my whole sense of being. Like, emotionally, I was a wreck. Relationally, I was a hot mess. And physically, I started to become a wreck, because all of the things that was going on and with me was starting to affect me internally, and thus having an impact externally. Right. And so boundaries was a thing that needed to be implemented in my life. And I didn't understand it at first until I started therapy, and I started to research and read books and learn more about what boundaries were and why they were necessary. And usually when they fail, it had nothing to do with the boundaries and more to do with the lack of reinforcing them. So like, I would go back to my old ways, or feel guilty because I said no, or, or grandma's calling and I don't want to answer. Oh my God, I feel bad because, I shouldn't ignore grandma. That's grandma. Right. But if grandma is on that phone gossiping, and you already have a lot on your shoulders, and you do not have time to hear everybody else's life problems, then protecting your peace is necessary in that moment. And you shouldn't feel guilty about it. So for me, it was reinforcing and sticking to that. Now, whenever I failed and I felt bad about it, even in that moment, I didn't navigate it alone.
Love that.
So I had my friends who knew my story, Tiana, Dr. Tiana being one of them, who knew my story, who understood my pain points, understood the areas that I struggle in, right? And I reach out to them when I'm feeling low, and when I'm feeling like I just can't, I forget what my boundaries were or how to implement them. They're great reminders.
Yeah.
They will regurgitate everything right back to me and get me back into alignment. And I think that's so important when we're talking about, containers, and making sure that you have the right support system behind you. I call mine my healing circle. I have my healing circle. I'm in the middle and they around me, just making sure I stay stable. And I think it's so important. And so for me, it was lack of reinforcement. And you have to build a system around you that when those things fail, you're able to lean on those, that circle to be able to pull you back into alignment.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it's important to have that peer-to-peer accountability as well. Like not just necessarily like a coach or a mentor or a therapist, but like peers, people who can, again, remind you of who you are and what you said you wanted, and what was important to you, right? Lovingly. Lovingly. That is
lovingly. I mean, lovingly sometimes can look a little aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do have to speak truth, right?
Yes, you do have to
Um,
speak truth, yeah. It won't always feel good.
yeah, facts.
Mhm,
Super facts, super
mhm.
facts. Okay, let's think. I'm trying to think of one for me as a boundary that
Yeah.
didn't fold. Um, ooh, okay. This is actually a really good one. So for a while, I was like, Tiana, you need to grow up and be an adult and you need to wake up early. Right. And I was
Oh!
like, you're gonna get up. And so, okay, so my husband, right? He's like a five, he can get up anywhere between 5 and 5:45, right?
Mhm.
Every day. He's at the gym, he's like bright and early. Okay. Now we've been together almost 10 years, okay? So a decade of this, right? And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm giving myself a boundary. I need to grow up, be mature, I need to wake up early, right? And 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 I failed miserably, okay? I was like 7 a.m. I'm like a 7 to 8 a.m.er, okay? And I'm not an early bird sleeper either. Like I usually go to bed usually around 10. All
Mhm.
right. So after like weeks, okay, of me struggling to hold this boundary for myself, okay, that's
Mhm.
another thing that I want you all to remember. Boundaries are not just for other people, boundaries are also for you. And they are important, I think, in protecting love, right? And so I was like, I
Mm.
really want to
Mhm.
show that I love and I care for myself. So I'm going to get up extra early. I'm going to work out at that time and then do the rest, right? Now, it didn't work. Okay. It has worked in other seasons. Like actually, when I was a new mom, it did work because I did get up at 5:30 before he woke up to breast, to do all the things because I knew I didn't have another choice. Right. But recently, when I tried it, yeah, it was an epic fail. And what it took and what was missing was truth
Mm.
and honesty, right? And my husband, he's fantastic at this. He comes in and he's like, you're tripping. He's like, you've never been a morning person, Tiana. Like, why are
Period.
you, like, why are you trying to force this,
Like
right?
torturing yourself. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And once he said it, I was like, that is so true. I am not a morning person and I'm not going to shame myself or guilt myself or whatever myself, right? Like I am just going to accept the truth because when you resist the truth, you suffer every time. All right.
Mhm.
So you have to be very grounded in the truth. And it really does matter who is in proximity to you, who can speak that truth to you in love when you forget, right? Or when you're just not tapped in, right? Like I again was like trying this for weeks before, before he said something. So I think for me, it was like, yeah, okay, yes, there could be other things missing, right? There could be accountability, there could be structure, there could be all the things. But sometimes what is missing is us being just brutally honest with
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
And it is what it is, right? Like
Period.
it
Right.
is what it is.
Why do we set these expectations or put these expectations on ourselves that are so unrealistic, that are so out of line with who you are as a person and as an individual? And sometimes we don't even like
Yeah.
like the thing that we're setting for us. We don't even like it. Like what? Like no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like what you said when you said boundaries. You said something about love.
They protect love.
They protect love. Can you explain that? I learned that when reconciling my relationships with my family, right? That
Mm,
boundaries are not a bad thing. You're not keeping people out.
right.
I say it's the limit to which I'm able to love me and love you as well.
Yes. That's
Right, and so
exactly
can you
true.
go, like, when you talk about your experience with that and you mentioned love, can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I think for me, I used to think that boundaries meant that I wasn't a loving and kind person.
Mm,
And and being kind is important to me. Like
Yes.
it is a part of my character, my personality that I actually really like and I really appreciate because honestly, it's sometimes hard to come across kind people in the world. And so I there's a lot of nice people, right? But there's a difference between being nice and
Nice
being
and
kind,
kind.
right?
Yes.
And so for me, I had to learn that when I set a boundary, like you said, it is the distance at which I can love me and love others well, right?
Mm.
Where I'm not resentful, I'm not bitter, I'm not, showing up or giving out of guilt or out of feeling obligated right and because I know that when I am in that energetic space that it's not great and I want to always feel joyful when I'm in relationship with people, when I'm engaging with other people, when
Mhm,
I am giving or serving other people. And so it is the boundaries that help me protect that ability. And
mhm.
so when I feel like I'm not able to stay in love towards people, towards others, that's when I know there's a boundary that needs to be created or a boundary that is maybe slipping that I need to revisit and maybe reinforce,
That
right?
is so good. Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
if you feel like you're having difficulty within a relationship with an individual, check your boundaries.
Yes.
Check your boundaries because more than likely is not, it's not
Yeah.
benefiting you, and I would say not having boundaries is actually being unkind to yourself.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that is how I live my life now, right? Like my thing is
Mhm.
like I want to be kind to you, but I'm going to always be kinder to me.
Mm,
And that's just how it has to
period.
be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I will tell you, right? I got some really strong reactions when I first started to make those changes.
Oh,
Real,
yeah.
real strong reaction.
Real strong. Mhm,
Right. And they um I'll tell you this, the resistance is what is going to either allow you to reinforce it
mhm,
where you double down because you're like, oh no, this is what I want to be doing, or
mhm,
it's going to make you kind of reevaluate, right? Where you're like, is this the right boundary? Is it the right way that I'm executing this? Right? It's going to make you pause, right? And either way, whether you decide to pause and change the boundary or make some modifications, or whether you just decide to pause and get clear about whether this is really the boundary that you want, it's going to be necessary because it allows you to then really anchor into it, right? So when I got those strong reactions, I did feel some kind of way. And many of the people hurt my feelings. They were just rude, to be honest with you,
mhm,
ungrateful, and presented as entitled, right? To
mhm,
my time, to my energy, to my
mhm,
resources, to my money, right?
mhm,
And so it took a lot of support. It took a lot of healthy containers for me to be a part of to kind of share those things and get support and get encouragement of hey stay the course, right? The resistance is not it for me. It gave me the message of the resistance is not a sign that you should back down. It's actually a sign that you're moving in the right direction and you just have to move forward through it because life will recalibrate.
mhm,
And sometimes those people meet you when it recalibrates, and many times they don't.
mhm.
So be prepared, right? Be prepared for that, and that is really the beauty and the benefit of having those containers and those communities to help you in that time because you are going to feel some kind of way when you start to practice boundaries. It's like muscles, right?
Mhm,
You don't go to the gym today and work out and then you have muscles when you wake up tomorrow, right? Like you have to be consistent in practicing that thing. And then as you build strength and endurance, right, then you're able to really stand the test, right? But
and
it's
then
gonna
understanding
be
too
hard.
that you will not know that you're doing good with them until you're tested.
Yeah,
So not always looking at resistance as a bad thing, like it's an opportunity for you to practice what you've been teaching yourself or learning all this time. And
yeah,
that's something I had to get get with too, like, oh my God, this person is driving me crazy. And it's like, wait a minute. Boundary.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
test this out. And like you said, a lot of time they don't like it, and you get that hard pushback. But once you've conquered though, and you've set the boundary and you've reinforced it, I promise you, most of the time you walk away feeling like, good job. I did
Yeah.
this, right? And so,
Absolutely.
and the
Absolutely.
people who really are supposed to be there will fall into alignment, and your relationship will actually be better
Yeah,
because of it.
it
Yeah.
will. I will say that. Yes, absolutely it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't feel you're less burdened,
Mhm.
and so it just
Yeah.
frees up that space for you when you have safe containers to process, to practice, to mirror back to you how you're showing up, or maybe where you're falling short. If you feel like you need more discipline, it's like you probably don't. You might just need some support. Might
Yeah.
just need some support. And that's okay, because you deserve support. We all need support. Nobody's doing this alone. They may say that they are, but life's not a solo sport. It's just
And if they
not.
are, they're not doing it successfully. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So, all right. So we are going to wrap up today's conversation. But as we close out, right, I want you all, the audience, those of you who are here tuning in live and watching the replay, we get quite a few folks that
Mhm.
rewatch the replays as well. And so I want you to be thinking about, right, if you stopped trying to grow alone, or create boundaries alone, or be more disciplined alone, whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? If you stop trying to do it alone, what might become possible for you,
Mm, mm,
right? I want you to um, really ask yourself and be honest with the answer, right? It's not about fixing, right? I don't want you to be like trying to solve the problem right now. Right now, I want you to be in a space of like awareness, right? Coming into that awareness. What's working, what's not working, what would be possible if I had the right support.
mm.
Right? All right. So again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. If you have comments, ideas, thoughts that come up as you're rewatching this, write them out in the chat. We will try to respond, and we will get back to you as time permits. But in the meantime, make sure that you have on your calendar Wealthy and Worthy Wednesdays. We're tuning in every Wednesday at 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So we'll check back in with y'all again next week.
All
Have an
right.
amazing rest of the week.
Bye. Enforce those boundaries.
Bye, guys. Practice, practice, practice,
Practice,
practice.
practice.